session. I'm here at my backyard basketball court. This is where I always work to keep my skills sharp. And what I love about skills, we talk about being the seal of our life. Skills are something that no one can take away from you. Once you have a skill, you can always keep that skill. You can use that skill. You can have it as something you can make available in any job, any opportunity. And I want to tell you that not just am I an entrepreneur that has been around for 2 decades, building companies, building businesses, building teams, but I also am a Fortune 100 business consultant. And as a Fortune 100 business consultant, I've helped companies with change management, business performance, business operations, really solving some of their toughest problems. And I have a treat for you today. I actually want to tell you about a training that I delivered through my company, Value Center Solutions. And Value Center Solutions is built on the management philosophy that I came up with called Value Center Management, that is based on my experiences as a lean management expert working for Toyota for many years and translating that to how business can be done centered around value in many different industries. And so that particular company and business, I've used that to do consulting and help a lot of large organizations and small ones too. But this particular training that I did was about some of the most important skills that we see happening today and being needed today to advance business, advance careers. And so I want to give this to you as a treat today, 10 of the most important skills to keep you in high demand in your career, as well as helping you have skills that will accelerate your business, because these critical things, once you understand how dynamics are changing and what's important is changing, you can make those changes too, so that you cannot miss any opportunity available to you. So I hope you enjoy all the insights and all the information that you will gain. And as always, here at URCO, we want to give you real information that will advance your life as a leader, as an entrepreneur, and as a person who wants to continue to be successful. And so I hope you enjoy this wonderful segment. Listen closely to the 10 critical skills that will keep you in high demand.
Now, I want to talk about, and this is important, I want to talk about the top 10 skills right now in high demand. High demand, all right? Top 10 skills in high demand. Okay. So, before I get into these top 10 skills in high demand, I want to tell you something, okay? Remember, knowing some of the top skills that are in demand is not just about finding the right job, but considering working for the right company. Let me say that again. Remember, knowing some of the top skills that are in demand is not just about finding the right job, but considering working for the right company. Now, why do I say that? Because as I go over this with you, some of these things, some of you might already be involved in. Some of these things are going to be new for some of you, but we can't help it. They're the top ones in high demand right now. That has nothing to do with you or your path or what journey you're on, the industry you're in. Nothing you can do about it. These are some of the top 10 skills in high demand. But here's the key. Whatever industry you're in, whatever career that you actually practice in, the key is to be aware of this stuff, because it's giving you the areas you might want to learn something about so that you can use it as a conversation piece. You can do work with people who have skills in these areas. You can be aware that, do I want to work for a company that has these types of things in it, since this is kind of where the market is going. This is what people are into. You can also evaluate what types of people and environments am I putting myself in that are related to these skills. So this is another thing to keep in mind. It's not, so as you listen to this, that don't have nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. Find a way, even if it just means that here's the things that Michael is giving me tonight of areas I want to go learn something more about, so I'm relevant and I can talk the talk and understand what's going on. Even when I'm evaluating, people I'm working with, working for, things that I'm doing and what I'm good at, I might want to work with some people who are doing things like this because it's very progressive. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. You all ready to jump in for the top 10? Let me hear from you out there. Y'all ready for the top 10? All right, top 10. Are y'all ready? I'll make sure to chat. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Ready. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So, oh yeah, Ken, that's right. Let's clap it up, Stephanie. So, sounds like you all are doing good and my pace is okay. I want to now walk through the top 10 skills in high demand right now. Okay, high demand right now. All right. The first one, analytical thinking. Analytical thinking. The ability to collect, sort, and analyze data for companies to assist them at arriving at valuable conclusions and interpreting data. Okay? This is very, very important. Let me give them a full screen of that again. So again, analytical thinking, the ability to collect, sort, and analyze data for companies to assist them in arriving at valuable conclusions and interpreting data. So all of you out there that think deeply, you like to analyze, listen, you have a valuable skill. This is very valuable today. Companies are looking for people who can analyze because there's so much information today. There's too much stuff to decipher through. There's so many angles, so many ways, so many approaches, so many inputs of data, information, things to research, right? So people who have a mind that is not afraid to analyze has actually become highly valuable, highly in demand. So we want to be aware of this. And I want you all to think about this. Now, did you all know, as you listen to some of this, that when you think about analyzing, so Vanessa says, will that include research? So analytical thinking is involved in research, can be used as a tool, but research really is its own thing. So I can research something and not analyze it, okay? But a lot of times if I'm analyzing, I will do research. Right? So I hope you can see the difference. Sometimes people research something, but they don't analyze it. They just research it, get all the information and give it to someone else. But when I'm analyzing, I do normally always do research. So I would say it's a part of it. Okay. So be aware of this. And even in your business, career, whatever you're doing, there's somewhere that analytical thinking is needed, but this is in high demand. All right, let's go to another one. Cloud computing. Cloud computing. So the ability to support the growing number of companies that are now run using cloud systems and technologies. There's a great need for those who understand the technical architecture and design, but who can also execute cloud systems. Now, I know not everyone understands about cloud computing now, but when we think about the cloud, so we're thinking about a way for many different devices and technologies to be all connected into technology that allows everything to be synced and working together harmoniously. Even some of you that have iPhones and how connected all their devices are, people that use, Google Docs and you update it here and someone else you can go to another computer and get access to that same document again versus saving it like we used to and adding a floppy disk and saving it over here and moving it over there. Cloud computing has changed everything. So as you can see on this illustration, let's go full screen on that artwork there. Everything connected to these clouds, this cloud, which is really symbolic of the ability for different servers to hold information and to unite all of our information in a way where it's useful to us. The more that you learn about some of this space or get familiar with how to interact with it or even involve it in the work that you do, you are using things that are relevant today, that are a part of what is happening today, even if you use more cloud-based solutions and softwares and technologies to run your company or to run your department or to interact in your particular business. So this is another thing to keep in mind. Some of you may want to go deeper back to continuous learning and pick up some of these things, learn about some of these things. Don't be afraid. Today, things are so decentralized, right, and democratized where you can now pretty much get in there and learn whatever you want. There's so many ways to get out there and just say, I want to take an online class. So don't be afraid to do that as well. So this is another very important area, very technical, but this is what's out there. This is what's really critical in part of the top 10. Here's another one. There's something called blockchain, all right? Blockchain. Now, blockchain is something that is really a young, new skill in terms of a new industry. There is a great need for people who understand this area and are specialists in this field. Competition is very small because there are not a lot of people who understand it. And demand is very high. I remember just going to many different events out there in the business world and hearing people talk about blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. What is blockchain? What is this all about? And there's still so many complexities to it. I don't understand every single detail, but enough, just enough to understand why it's useful. So before I go any further, and I'm telling you this is an important industry right now, what in the world is blockchain? So let's just talk about this really, really briefly. So blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. Each block in the chain contains a number of transactions, and every time a new transaction occurs on this blockchain, a record of that transaction is added to every participant's ledger. So to simplify that, it's a way of recording information in a decentralized way that is still all connected to where you can't hack into it and because it's so separated. If I hack into one thing, it doesn't impact the stuff over there. So even though it works all together, it works separately. So this is a very complex technology. You can see why there's very few people who understand it all, but blockchain has become a necessity because why? There's so much hacking going on. There's people breaking into, you see all the time, the government got hacked into, big companies like Target and different ones getting hacked into every day. You hear about cryptocurrencies and all these things that are going on. There's so much that is happening today. Because of that, there's more people wanting to understand blockchain, how to protect things, especially people in financial institutions and so forth. So things where you have passwords and sacred information. This is why blockchain is becoming so important in a world that is so concerned about security. So when you think about it, so this whole, space out there, we're kind of elevating your mind. We want you to see the things you need to be thinking about. This complex kind of blockchain world where all of these technologies are being used to better protect people's data and information and to make it harder to hack things. This is something you want to know about. You want to have some of the lingo, some of the language. You want to be in the know. And if you have a chance to learn anything about blockchain, add it to your toolbox, add it to your tool chest. Learn as much as you can. Add it to your language, your communication skills. Sometimes just being able to talk the talk can get you a job, can get you a promotion, right? So this is also extremely important. All right, let's go to another one. Business intelligence. Business intelligence. The ability to reinforce data-driven business. The ability to transform data into actionable intelligence and knowledge that can be made useful to a company. Why is this becoming so important today? Because now we got all these computers, we got all this information being tracked, and there's softwares to track this and track this and track that. What does it all mean? Right? So what? We know everywhere someone clicked on our website. We know everywhere someone, what everyone did here. They filled out a survey. They did this, they did that. We got all of this information on people now and how they move about and the trends that they tend, the behavioral science behind what they do and why they do it. But what does it mean, right? What does it mean? So this is why you need people in the business intelligence field that can take this information, extrapolate it, and turn it into something intelligent. So many of you know that we want to take data and turn it into information, right? And better yet, if we can turn it into intelligence where we're being smart about how to use that information, it's even better. So again, some of us with our different skill sets, if we find creative ways to take information that is available now through reports and things that computers can do for us and turn it into something intelligent. How can we use it? How can we find a way to use that and make it something productive? This is, again, there's a whole field around business intelligence now, but you can do this in many different ways. Even in things that you do, you'll find that there's things that you can do that is business intelligence oriented. And so this is something you definitely want to keep in mind. All right. Now here's another one, kind of in the computer space as well. Scientific computing. Now, this is stuff I want you to understand. This is, again, we're trying to expose you to things that are going on. Now, this is skills that relate to software architecture. Let's put that back up there so I can finish reading that there. Software architecture and data science, right? So there's all this, again, you can see there's a big issue with data and information being everywhere. So a lot of these top skills have to do with how do we deal with all this stuff? Experts that can develop machine learning models that can sort and analyze all this big data, right? Because there's so much data. So I want you to see, this is what you call a supercomputer, right? And then here's a supercomputer. You know, these computers exist that process so much information, so much data, so many algorithms. We need people now who know how to deal with all this stuff, right? Scientific computing. So people that are familiar, that understand that this exists, that appreciate that this is going on, they'll have an advantage. They'll be able to talk about these things. And if you want to go get a certificate, if there's something you want to add, you'll know like, hey, here's some things that is useful because people are wanting to know more about how do we deal with all of this stuff? How do we build computers that can process all this stuff? How do we compute all of this information? This is, again, another very important skill and area. All right. Now, here's another one. Here's another one. We're kind of jumping out of the computer space a little bit. It's another top skill. Every business, sales skills. Every business must have a sales strategy and leadership. The ability to overcome objections and close people from different backgrounds and personalities. Using these skills online, right? Using sales funnels is becoming of great importance, okay? So learning how to use sales skills to sell people on a product or a service, you can't do away with that. But now people are learning how to use sales funnels to do that as well. Now, this sales skill is not related to sales funnels, but I'm adding this in because it's another thing to be on the head of the curve. You want to understand more about sales funnels and how they work. Now, that's not my training here today, but this is important. So here's just a little high level when you think about the sales funnel and learning about how basically to have a funnel that is taking sales skill and building it into technology. This is also becoming a very important skill. So in the AIDA principle, and I want you to remember that, add that to your toolbox, AIDA, okay? And AIDA describes a process of selling someone, especially in an online funnel. So the first thing we want to do is walking through this high level, we want to get someone's attention. So we see this happening online right now with ads. People might put a video up. They might have a headline that gets people's attention, and that attention begins to become a net that grabs people on social media and tells them to come and take a look at what I'm talking about, right? So that's a skill. How do I get people's attention? Some of you are very good at getting people's attention. How do you do that? Sometimes people know exactly what to do. There's certain pictures that work better at getting people's attention online. So these are things that people have become very skilled at. All right. But once you have their attention, now you want to get their interest. And their interest now has to do with getting them interested in what you have available. That is a skill. What choice of words, what examples, what stories do you tell that cause someone to be interested, okay? Once they're interested, you want to move them toward desire. Now emotion has come in. You want them to start to get emotionally moved to want to buy something, right? And there's different things you can do when you have sales skill to move them toward emotion, to actually begin to want to buy. And that leads us to the last area, which is action, right? Action. So AIDA, having good sales skills, and I'm adding this in here for you about understanding sales funnels and the AIDA methodology. So keep this in mind. Very important skill. Those of you out there that are not afraid to talk to people, you're able to understand what makes people tick. You understand how to sell, and that selling is not about getting someone to buy. It's about educating someone and allowing them to discover that you have something that they need, right? I hope you caught that. Very, very important. All right. Here's another one. Affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing has become an essential skill. People now, even businesses, are adding the affiliate marketing model to their company. Amazon is an affiliate marketing business, right? And we know Amazon running the world just about now. So this has become a new form of advertising online through social media posts, special projects, and websites. Having superior networking skills to build a following of willing buyers is essential now. So, this is something you want to be aware of, and you want to sharpen your skills and understand this. Now, those of you a part of A Club, a good way to do that, be an affiliate of the A Club, right? If you're an affiliate of the A Club, you are officially in affiliate marketing, and you can begin to grow your skills. But you don't have to stop there. You can be affiliates of other things as well. But this is very important. Now, just to keep this real simple, we think about affiliate marketing. Basically, affiliates, put an ad on, you put your ad on their website. A customer clicks on that ad. The conversion from them clicking on that ad is tracked, and the affiliate gets a commission and you get a sale, right? So the company says you can go and post my ad just like you are CEO of the company. We give you links. You can post our links on different places online. They click the link. They come to understand our product. They buy our product. You get paid. This is the same thing that you see a lot of people selling products on Amazon. Same type of thing, affiliate marketing. So this is a skill it's important to have, to understand about ads, to understand about conversions, to understand about headlines, storytelling, how to actually get people to take action and actually understanding different compensation models. What percentage do different people pay? How links work, right? And there's reciprocal links where someone lets me put a link on their site and I let them put a link on my site. How blogs can work, how social media can work. All of this is a part of developing skills in this affiliate marketing area. Very, very important skill set. All right. Here's another one. Now we had to come, you can tell technology kind of dominates the top skills that are happening right now. Here's another top area. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Learning how to use machines to perform tasks that human beings cannot perform due to a large amount of data. So again, you can see another problem with data, so much information. So artificial intelligence is creating new opportunities, right? We're learning how to use machines now to perform tasks that human beings used to do, that it would be too much for one human being's brain to try to keep it all organized. So essentially, when you look at this image, right, we're kind of transforming what the brain can do, but we might only can do it one time. Like we can spend all of our time for months trying to figure it out. But once we build a computer and use some artificial intelligence to think somewhat like a human could, we can start doing things that humans, could not do at that pace and in that amount without some support or help. So artificial intelligence is becoming extremely important. So that's where you see some of these technologies like, what's the name of I think Amazon, they have the whole thing that you can talk to. I forget her name right now. Alexa, is that her name or something? And so you can call out to Alexa and say, Alexa, do this and Alexa, do that. That's artificial intelligence, right? There's artificial intelligence in some of our navigation systems. Some of the phones that you notice that you're calling now for service and it's hard to get a person anymore. It's like, how can I help you? And it's a robot. And you're like, well, I wanted to press 1 to talk to someone and say, how can I help you? And you're like, I need such and such. And they'll say, can you say that again? And you talking to a robot. That's artificial intelligence. So this stuff is becoming important to think about how to use intelligence and incorporate that into the things that we're doing. And how can you use artificial intelligence to be better at what you do, but also just get exposure to it. Find out where in your industry is artificial intelligence being used and be up on that. Be knowledgeable about that. So as you advance in your career, you're at the top of the list because you're up on the things that's being done in things like artificial intelligence with respect to your career. Very, very important. All right. Here's another key area that's become very important. Because we look at so many things online, UX design, so again, you're learning some things here tonight. UX is more of a software industry term for user experience. And I use the X because experience, you say X kind of, right? Experience, user experience. So it's just UX design. The ability to keep people attracted to a company's products and applications, creating loyalty and interest in consumer products that will lead to income generation. So user experience is very, very powerful. So I want you to look at this for a minute. So there's user experience and there's user interface, okay? Now, both of these are very important. Now, the one that's become so much in demand right now is the user experience side. Okay, and this is almost like different sides of the brain, if you will, and these are skills that are very sought after now. On the user interface side, we're dealing with aesthetics, like how a website looks, or the conversions that take place, interaction on the design, elements on a particular page, the typography, what type of font are you using? How are things laid out on the page? The visual assets, there's a box and a circle and a button on this page. Prototyping of maybe what this website might look like, and so I'm kind of building a model of it, right? That's user interface. User experience is getting into looking at things that deal more with behavior. What do people consistently do? Why are companies so concerned about this? Because they're trying to control the behaviors of people online. What is Facebook doing when we click on likes and when we scroll different things? You notice if you research something on Google now, or you click a button or you click on an ad, then all at once you start getting a lot of ads. I'm almost wondering if someone's listening, because I'm serious. If I say shoes and while I'm eating dinner, I start seeing ads for shoes on my phone, I don't know if it's just me or if y'all seeing that too, but something going on. But anyway, you can tell that when because of what's happening, there are things going on to create different experiences to promote consistent behavior. So this is critical. Here's a few more that we can look at here. Usability testing. Testing how people use a product. How do they use it? See, this is getting into user experience. Communication. What's being communicated when someone uses an app? Focus groups. Talking to people about how they use a product so you can really know what they want, what they get out of it. Sometimes this leads to millions of dollars by being able to talk to people and ask them